Hello, welcome back to the Amber Wave Show, Season 2, Episode 20. Today we look back as we faced off against Ely in the league this past Saturday, and we also look to this weekend's fixture as the Bloaters are back at home against Walsham Le Willows. Now, onto the game against Ely this past Saturday, and on a chilly, overcast day in Cambridgeshire, Jesse Fenn kicked off for the Bloaters. The first chance then came pretty early on with a good cross in the box for Ely, headed towards goal and forced Brandon Ling into a good save. The game was pretty even to the start, even at the start. With both teams having opportunity. However, Ely seemed to have a little bit more of the clean-cut chances. However, Yarmouth had a brilliant chance to score after the Ely defender's poor clearance landed to Halliday's feet. The ball wasn't struck completely cleanly and went agonisingly wide of the target, and the score remained 0-0. Moments later, Ely had the best chance of the game so far after the ball was crossed into the box, headed towards goal, with Brandon only able to clear the danger with a punch, and after a little bit of hot potato in the box, it fell to the Ely player who had a brilliant strike and forced an even better save from Brandon Ling. The game was very stop and start throughout. It seemed that whoever could scream the loudest would get the free kick. But other than that, that was it for the first half, and the teams went in level. Ely started with the majority of the possession and chances in the first part of the second half. Yarmouth had the better chances to go ahead, with the first being a beautiful cross from a free kick that was headed out from a corner, and the second being a headed effort that went just wide. The possession and chances soon switched to Yarmouth, with plenty of chances to go ahead, but unfortunately not taken. Ely did break the deadlock, though, through a through ball from the midfield to the attack and nestled it nicely into the net. However, the linesman did raise his flag for offside, keeping the score at 0-0. Duffy did have a free kick after about 22 yards out, but only went a whisker wide of the post shortly after. The best and most clear-cut chance of the game, though, did come in the second half. Duffy found himself with way too much room and space, unleashing a powerful shot, which was met by the Ely keeper, but only beaten away to the feet of Jesse Fenn from about a yard out. All he needed to do was tap the ball into the net, but unfortunately, it was a really horrible bobble on the ball, and it got caught up in Jesse's feet, and he was unable to convert it. So the score stayed at 0-0. Now, the most, let's say, interesting moment of the game came nearer the end of the game. It came from a Sammy Adams thunderous run from his own half, and he took it all the way to the edge of Ely City's box. Ely's number 7, now this is where it gets confusing, committed the foul on Sammy. The number 7 then got subbed off straight after that. The whistle went for the free kick. Obviously, number 7 had been subbed off. He was already on a yellow, and the new player came on. Now, with the substitution completed and the ref presumably looking for the spot for the free kick, he was called over by the linesman. And then after some deliberation from the linesman, then ran or walked all the way over to the Ely bench and then booked the number 7 who just got substituted for the foul on Sammy Adams. That player, number 7, was already on a yellow, which then meant it was a red card, second yellow to a red, which then meant that the substitution was rescinded. So the player that came on for number 7 had to come off, and number 7 had to go to the dressing room because he was sent off. Now, that seems very confusing. No idea why he didn't talk to his linesman and come to that decision before the player got subbed off. But, yeah, he did. Now, that's confusing and long-winded, and it's hard to understand, but, yeah, it's hard for me to understand as well. But other than that, nothing else really happened to note in the game. The full-time result to the Ely City fans' displeasure with their booing of the officials and our players and hurling of abuse to the fans, the players, and the officials, it remained 0-0. They made their voices heard at full time, and we made our positive voices also heard at full time. Now, the match overall, it could have been a lot better match if the game was allowed to flow, and if, in my opinion, some of the fouls that we thought were fouls that weren't given, and some that we thought really soft or not fouls were given. The game could have flowed a bit better. We just couldn't convert our chances. The defence was brilliant, but yeah, I feel that maybe we lacked that final touch. Obviously, it was very unfortunate how it just bounced up on Jesse for when he was clear through on goal about a yard out, and those things happen every now and again. So nothing really else to say about that one. But now on to this weekend's game, where the Bloaters take on Walsham Le Willows at home in the Thurlow Nunn Premier Division. After Saturday's draw against Ely and after the matches around the league during the week, we remain in 9th position with 15 games played, consisting on 8 wins, 3 draws and 4 losses with a positive goal difference, and sitting on 27 points with chance to move up to 4th in the playoffs, looking at depending on results and games in hand. The Bloaters, over the last 5 games, sees them with 4 wins, which includes 2 penalty shootout wins and 1 loss, scoring 10 goals, not including the goal scored in the penalty shootout, and conceding 5 over them games. So we score twice as many goals as we concede. While Walsham Le Willows have been in the Thurlow Nunn Premier all the way back since 2007-2008, after winning the Division 1, which it was then. I don't believe it was North and South then. I think it was just Division 1 in the 06-07 season. Now, Walsham Le Willows currently sit just one place above Yarmouth in 8th. They have played 18 games so far this season, which is 3 more than the Bloaters. That breaks down as 9 wins, 3 draws, and 6 losses, sitting on a positive 7 goal difference, so 3 points better off. And looking at the form over the last 5 games, they have managed to muster 2 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses, scoring 9 goals and conceding 6. So overall, if Walsham win, they broaden the gap between the two clubs and make it harder for Yarmouth to sneak into those playoff places. However, a Yarmouth win will see them, with their superior goal difference over Walsham, leapfrog them into 8th and strengthening our playoff hopes. We've got the form on our side. It's at home. It's a Saturday. It's daytime. We've got the drum, providing it goes ahead, of course, because of the weather. So the Yarmouth will have the backing of the Amber Wave and everyone else. I don't know how Walsham Le Willows travel. I don't think they bring too many games. I might be wrong, but I'm not sure. It's a lovely ground though, the Walsham Le Willow ground. But yeah, if we play, I said this before, if we play like I know we can play, we should beat them 3-4-0. We could struggle now. We haven't had a game midweek, which will help. Our last game was Saturday against Ely. Now, it wasn't that far of a journey. It's about an hour and a half from Norwich, so it's probably about an hour and 45, hour and 50 from Yarmouth. So not a massive amount of travelling, a good week between games. We should be rested, we should be recuperated, and we have a new signing called Kyle Ingram, who has signed from to us from Galston, which is a massive signing, very good player, and from the Great Yarmouth Twitter, X, he will be in the team for this Saturday, even more strengthening us as a club. So hopefully he can bag a couple of goals on his debut and we can win 3-1. That's what I'm going to guess. So, yeah. Other than that, that's all we have time for. That's all there is to say. So, we'll see you at the match tomorrow. And as always, up the bloaters.